And I'm going to come pull this up. I had to share it out, so I had my phone down. So not going to be very long on this one. Hello, everyone. I am Shakira Mikasa of HS Inc. 365. We are the home of Honestly Speaking. We carry the best sublimation ink, sublimation paper. We also have pigment ink and other accessories for your printers, cartridges, and color charts, and all sorts of good things over on the website shop.hsink365.com. I'm going to give you guys just kind of a look and a breakdown of like when you one of the things that you have to consider when figuring out, like, I'm not going to necessarily say figure out your pricing, because I am definitely one that subscribes to, I guess you would say, the notion that just because you don't have adequate equipment and it takes you longer to do something doesn't mean that you should receive more money, or your price should be higher because you don't have the proper equipment or like to get the job done faster. But this kind of gives you an idea of how long it will take to do something if you have just one printer, one heat press, and you are taking on larger jobs. When you don't have the proper equipment to do it more efficiently, it's like you're not going to profit as much or not make as much on it based off of the current market of those who have commercialized equipment and they can get it done faster and even sometimes at a better quality. So yeah, I'm just going to use this example only because I'm getting ready to do like some prints, and it's I was trying to explain this to someone else and I had to write it out. And so since I had to write it out to explain it to someone else, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and do a live video and kind of break this down. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. So I do have an order of 100 rags coming up like this week or whatever, right? But we have more than one printer and also more than one heat press. And it's also more than one person that works for our company that will do this. I end up designing, we're going to send them to print, and even we'll end up pressing these, not me, and I can focus on other money-making tasks. But for most of you guys, it is just you in your quote unquote business. All right. Now, some of you guys have seen, if you haven't seen my videos on the different printers, go check them out. This is not going to be a printer review going over all of the stats of printers. That's just what's not going to happen. But you can check out those videos where I talk about the pros and cons of the different printers, desktop printers that people will normally start. Sorry about that. The printers that people will normally start off with, and that is usually a desktop Epson printer, whether it is a cartridge-based printer or an EcoTank printer. Okay, sir. Or an EcoTank printer. Now, when it comes to the EcoTank printers, they print much slower than workforce printers. But when it comes to workforce printers or any cartridge-based printers, you have to refill your cartridges, reset them. If you're using like the newer workforce printers, you're going to have to refill them and even change out the chips. If you have the newer workforce printer, I'm sorry, it's just not meant for you to maybe take on doing like super, super large jobs, because it can get very frustrating in changing those chips out in the middle of large print jobs. But like when you have the older workforces or ones that can be reset, it is kind of time consuming still, but it's not costly like the newer workforce printers are. Now, this example is based off of me using a workforce printer, the old school ones, 7710, 7720, 7210. If you are using an EcoTank printer, unless it is the 16600 or 16650, although I think the 8550 might print on the same speed as the workforce printers, I think. But all the other ones, any of the small format ones, any like the 15,000, they print slow as molasses. Okay. So this is based off of a workforce printer, and this is also based off of using the print setting plain paper high. If you are someone who is adamant on using premium presentation paper matte or presentation paper matte, whether it is on high or standard, your print time is going to be doubled, if not like 2.5 like times, the time frame, because premium matte prints out extremely slow. This is also based off of doing a rag that will be a 11.5 by 11.5 inch wide rag. Close the door, Papa, when you go out. Close the door. So it's a large print. So for me, this is printing on 13 by 19-inch paper. Yes, it's only like the top half, but for each one of those prints, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes, depending on like how detailed it is. All right. So I've gone through before, and it's about 20 prints, because I timed it once, but this was also a design where it was just something in the middle. It wasn't like the whole thing. I actually plan to test. I don't think I've ever really timed it when I've done like a full print, but it's around like basically an hour. Hold on. I need you to focus. It takes about an hour to do 20 prints. So that's basically 3 minutes per print on a workforce. Do understand that if you have an EcoTank printer, i.e. the 15,000, I'm not quite sure with the 8550, it may be within this range right here. I know the 16650 is within this range because it prints like the old school workforces. So that's 3 minutes of print, right? So for 100 prints, it's going to take you just total print time, basically around 5 hours. But come on, remember, this is a workforce printer, which means you are going to have to, stop it, refill your ink, reset your cartridges, like reset your chips and things like that. So with those kind of mixed in between, we're going to say it may take up to 6 hours to fully print 100 13 by 19. Like, they'll end up being 12 by 12, 12 and a quarter by 12 and a quarter, somewhere in there. But basically to a 13 by 19 sheet of paper, it's going to take you roughly about 6 hours. Come on, focus now, stay focused. I think every time I put my hands in there. All right. So if you are using Honesty Speaking sublimation paper and you are able to press at 30 seconds, you're looking at about 15 minutes between putting the rag up there, lining up your print, pressing it, and removing one, putting the next one on. I gave it about 45 seconds just to be on the safe side. But like with our paper, we're pressing at 30 seconds. So if you're using a different paper that requires you to press at 60 seconds to get the ideal or best results, then your time, of course, is going to double. So it takes about 15 minutes to press those 20 that took an hour to print. Okay. Only 15 minutes to press 20 rags that took an hour to print. So some may say, if you're doing it like, okay, if you're someone that's like, okay, I want to print out, have my heat press ready, and then I'm going to press. Well, it takes 3 minutes to print one, and it takes 30 seconds to press. So you may want to let a bunch of them print out. And even when you have the 20, the fact that it's only going to take 15 minutes to press them, if you're starting like the next set, by the time you get done pressing this first one that's completely done, you're only going to have 5 more prints that have come out. And then you can press those, and you can try and print and press to save time, like you're sitting at your heat press to press it. That's going to be a waste of time, guys, because you're going to be a slave to waiting for the printer to come out, and you're going to end up being very, very frustrated waiting for those prints to come out. So I don't recommend doing that. All right. So let's say you go and you let all 100 print. That's 6 hours. Other than you having to go to do the maintenance on the printer, this is 6 hours that you have to do other tasks. Now, if you are someone who has a regular 9 to 5, with these particular printers, you cannot just let it run and just like, okay, well, I'm going to set it and forget it. I'm just going to let it print out, whether it is you refilling your paper, because the trays, guess what? They don't hold 100 sheets of sublimation paper. So at some point, You're even going to have to go back to the printer to fill it with, like, to refill the paper. So it's a lot of back and forth. If your room isn't set up ideally, you're going to be moving around like a chicken with your head cut off for the majority of this print order. But um just to basically press. So, well, no, I was saying, like, during this time you can be doing other things, but if you have a 9 to 5, then you have to think about, do you have 6 hours after you get off work to let those go ahead and print off? So if you're getting off around like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so that's like, if you started and, well, you get home at like 5 or 6, you're looking at 11 or 12 midnight, like 11 p.m., 12 midnight, being done with the actual printing part of it. And again, this is only if, like, this is speaking from a workforce perspective, not an eco tank. Eco tank is going to be way more hours than that. But during that time, you can work on other things, your social media, work on designs for the next order. So you can do other things, but your printer will be tied up for 5 to 6 hours. No other print jobs can be done during that time, which means no money making tasks can be done during that 5 to 6 hours. You can only print for that order for 5 to 6 hours. So almost a full work day, you are printing and nothing else. Okay? Y'all following me? And I'm sorry if I'm loud, like, 'cause I'm on my phone this time. So it's like my mouth is right by the microphone. Y'all know I'm already loud. All right. So between printing and then, let's say you wait to get everything printed and then you just press. And this is based off of using Honesty Speaking paper and pressing in 30 seconds. Okay. So you're like I said, between loading and unloading it, you may be around like an hour and 15 minutes to press 7 rags. So the total job time, not including design, not including emailing or texting or however you choose to do it with the customer to make sure that the design is approved and all that stuff, just to print it, press it. This is also not including the final prep to present it to your customers. The time for you to go through and just verify and count and make sure you have all the rags. This is not you opening the packages and setting those out. This is not you packaging them up. Are they going in individual baggies? Are they just going to be put into a box? This is print and press time. That's it. 7.5 hours, almost a full work day for one job. And if you know how much money you ideally may have wanted to make per day, certain items may not get you there. So you have to be very strategic and very selective about the services that you offer, because not every service is going to get you to your sales goals for that particular day, based off of the value or how a customer may value that particular product or service. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a breakdown of this for those who are in my student union, those who have taken the pricing for profit, who have attended any pricing therapy. I'm going to actually basically just type it out and for you guys to see the difference in, something as simple as adding a second printer, certain things, which, well, you can pretty much figure it out, but I'm going to end up doing like the full breakdown and for us to have a discussion on that. But you can cut down this time, but then you also have 2 printers that you have to maintain. Or if you end up investing in a larger printer, yes, that printer is going to cost you more money, but you may not have to babysit it as much and worry about the lines clogging up and just kind of having jacked up prints in the middle of a print job and having to stop to do that maintenance. So if you invested in at least like a F570, that's 24 inches, you could put technically 2 of these prints side by side. So you're getting kind of, so you have 2 side by side and you're able to kind of let that one run because it's going to be on a continuous run. Now, that may sound good. One of the things I want you guys to think about when you have these large format printers, although yes, the printing part will be easy with printing it all out. Yeah, you don't have to babysit it, but guess what they're going to have to do? Go in and cut down 100 separate rags. So now that is time as well. If you guys don't do anything like this when you're trying to figure out your prices, really sit down, calculate it, think about every step, write it down. This is going to be a strategy, a technique to help you determine prices and not waver on them. The reason why you got some of you guys question your price or you're afraid to tell someone the price is because you are not really thinking about how much work it actually takes. And the fact that like someone's job, if they are ordering 100 rags, you're stuck with that one job. Now, you might do 100 rags. Let's say if you even limit it to say, hey, when it comes to things like this for one particular order, I have a max of 48 rags or a dozen rags, 2 dozen rags, 3 dozen. Like you can set a max and that way you can have more than one job because then it's like you're getting paid for your design of that one. Um, and you're reaching more people versus just one order. There's a lot of factors, guys. It's not a one way, it's not like a clear cut process to developing your pricing. You have to really figure out what's going to work best for you. But I wanted just to give you guys, share this with you guys because I was just sharing it with someone else. Um, and this also will allow you to communicate with your customers the importance of deadlines, of approving designs, pictures, information, whatever it is, because if they want their order by a certain day, if it takes all of this, this lets you know that hey, you may not be able to do a last minute order of 100 rags because you know exactly how much time it's going to take. It is very important to do things like this. I can't stress it enough. Having a notebook, and I mean, it's so much and so many different notes and things like that in here for jobs, for classes. There's all sorts of things are in this particular um notebook. So I can't stress having one of these enough and just doing a real breakdown of your prices. So hopefully this has helped. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Visit shop.hsinc365.com. I'm telling y'all, my classes are not like any others that you have probably experienced. The way that I break things down. You may not like long-winded, you may not like information overload, but it is information that you're going to need. And I don't skimp on information. It's either going to help you sink or swim. There's been tons of people who come to my classes, and I'm sorry, I love the fact that I am giving them the information in a way to where they will think about it and say, hey, well, is this what I really want to do? Because this is way more than I anticipated. I'd rather you know it from the beginning and know that it's a lot more than you anticipated, that you can properly plan for it, than be in the midst of it and full of disappointment. Head on over to shop.hsinc. I'm telling you that pricing for profit and the therapy session 1 and 2 are amazing, and be on the lookout for the next pricing therapy session. All right. Until next time, guys. Peace. You're welcome, Jesse. Hey, Ronnie. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see people were on here. Pumpkin Simpson, hello. Facebook user, hello. Somebody else has said, hello. Hey, Professor. Hey, Professor Ogilvy. How y'all? Have a great one. Peace.